Hey guys, happy Friday. Very happy Friday. It's looking like it's going to be. Welcome to Feisty on Friday. I'm Tosca Di Matteo, founder and CEO of Tosca Coaching and Consulting. And today I decided that I want to talk about denial. Yes, let's talk about denial. And actually, this is actually really important in all facets of our lives. And of course, look, clearly we're in the middle of election week. Clearly a lot of states have just gone blue. Understanding not everything is official, but there's clearly some denial going on by our current president. And, it just makes me think of the times in my life that I've been in denial, and I'm wondering the times that you've been in denial yourselves in different parts of your life. Like it can happen in our personal lives, it can happen with our health, it can happen in our workplace environments, it can happen as leaders, it can happen as siblings, it can happen as daughters, mothers, all of it. I guess denial can be very, very dangerous. And most certainly, if you are, I think we're all leaders, but when we are in leadership positions and we are in denial, we can do a huge disservice to those that we serve. And it is our responsibility to really be able to face the truth. We have to be able to face it, whether we are in a situation in which the people that work with us, for us, no longer respect us. Like we have to face whatever that hard truth is, so that we can figure out how do we actually resolve it. Because we're not going to resolve any issues, any challenges, if we're in a position of denial. And the example that comes to my mind, from my personal life, I think one of the most, I would say, could have been catastrophic moments of my life that I was in denial was when I started having signs of being sick. And I was 22. And, of course, at 22, having any signs of sickness, I think, can easily be dismissed. But it had been months of more and more signs. So I started getting very thirsty all the time, and my appetite decreased. I actually lost 20 pounds. I literally couldn't leave my house without having a beverage in my hand. I got tired very easily. Lots of signs built up over the period of several months. I would say the very first signs maybe was in November. And I think it got to a point where I was using all these I'm stressed out or whatever it was at the time to kind of justify that's why these things are happening. And then in February, long story short, I was basically kind of kicking and screaming going to the doctor because I kind of had to face it, whatever was going on with me health-wise. And that's when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And so this is just this was a huge case of being in denial in my life. And it almost came at a very, very high cost. I could have gone into a coma. I could have, it could have been horrendous. I could have, crashed my car. I could, a number of things, right? I don't even want to think about it. But, thankfully that's not what happened. But I think that being in denial of health issues is something that is very prevalent, and we don't pay attention to our bodies, the information that our bodies are telling us. And so I just really want to invite everybody watching and everybody who's watching after the fact to ask yourself, Like, are you in denial in your life, in any area, but I would just say especially in the area of your health? You know, have things been deteriorating? Have you had a cough for like 5 weeks and it's not going away? You know, has something suddenly changed? You suddenly gained weight, or you suddenly lost weight? Look, I know we're in coronavirus, but you know what I'm talking about. You know, especially the way that stress has an impact on our bodies. You know, are you feeling lethargic? You know, all these things, because we, you know, we can get caught up in other things, or we can make excuses because we think we know why certain things are happening. But if we really stop and if we really ask ourselves, like, is this normal? Like, does this feel not right? Is this abnormal? You know, we might find out, oh crap, like, I really have to get this figured out. I really have to stop being in denial and really make the time for myself. You know, and then I get that that's hard too. To say, well, where am I going to find, you know, an hour to go to the doctor, or like whatever. Like, but those are just like excuses that, you know, to really love yourself and care about yourself is to take the time and do those things that are necessary. So I just encourage you on this health front, please don't be in denial of whatever might be happening that really needs to be addressed. You know, I will say, you know, I continue to kind of ignore things longer than I should. You know, I think it's a lifelong process. I think that, like, first of all, we're really, I don't know, personally, I definitely was raised in a household to kind of be fearful of doctors and of medicine and of things of that nature. So there's like deep embedded belief systems about the medical world, right, that I've had to really face in my own journey. And definitely, you know, if you've been paying attention, you also know that there's a lot of fear that is very actual, real fear, you know, especially for people of color in the community of, you know, in terms of health and wellness and doctors and not getting the care that they should be getting. So there, you know, I know with, you know, particular communities, you know, the fear of the medical world and doctors, you know, is real, and it's based in facts about that care. And still we must do what we need to do for ourselves. We have to be our own advocates to get the care that we deserve, and not just succumb to the fear and stay in denial even when we need good care. So we have to, like, these are really important issues to like push through. So that's kind of like the healthcare example of like, how does denial, you know, how can denial be really, really detrimental? And I know there's like lots of other examples of in the health arena. Now I want to move into the leadership arena. So, you know, where are you in denial of reality? Let's call it leadership / relationship, right? So are you with somebody, maybe you're in a relationship, who doesn't respect you, who continuously shows you that they dishonor you, that they don't value you, that they are putting you below them? Are you in denial of a toxic relationship? Are you in denial that you are, you know, dating a narcissist and it's unhealthy for you? There's all kinds of examples, you know, and I think all of this takes real interrogation to ask ourselves, like, are we willing to see what we don't want to see for our own sake, for our own good? And in the world of leadership, are we doing it for the sake of others? Because this bullshit that we're seeing right now in terms of denial of reality and all that stuff, from the president of the free world is a horrible example of what good leadership looks like. I don't need to like beat that dead horse. You hear it all the time. But what I do want to do is I'm going to take that extreme example and then bring it into your work environment and ask, like, what kind of leader are you? Are you the kind of leader that is in denial of things that need to be addressed? Are you in denial that your employees don't like you? Are you in denial? And I say, like, are you in denial maybe that, you're a bully, that you manage through bullying others? Are you in denial that you have colleagues that exhibit toxic behavior and you're just ignoring it and not doing anything about it? You're not being an advocate or an ally for those that are victims of those types of behaviors that are just unacceptable? Are you sweeping things under the rug? However you want to like label denial, right? These are the things that we have to stand up for, and we have to be willing to look at and do the work to say that we are better off facing the truth than continuing to deny the truth. Are you in denial of your privilege? Is it triggering you? Okay, go research that. Stop being in denial of what you fear to be true, and really go and understand what it means, because then you can start to accept, you can start to acknowledge, and you can start to do your own healing around that which you don't want to see about yourself. I know, like, this is definitely like a feisty on Friday. I'm sorry, y'all, but I can't, I'm not like a surface person. I just don't sit here and talk about the weather, though the weather is really nice today. I'm here in New York. It's sunny. It's like almost 70. But yeah, it's just, it's just disgusting to me. I gotta tell you, it's just disgusting when we are in a world where people have very little interest in developing their self-awareness skills. It's like there should be a class, in 6th grade called Self-Awareness 101, and that should continue to get deeper and deeper and deeper. And I know there are some people that have a propensity to have that, and then there are some that don't. And it doesn't mean you can't have that skill set of becoming self-aware. But of course, the ego gets in the way, right? The ego wants to protect itself from seeing things about itself that it doesn't like, and that's where a lot of projection happens, right? It's like, well, I don't want anybody to see my shit, so I'm going to talk about your shit, which is actually the same shit that I have. I just don't want to, I don't want to talk about it, or I don't want to accept it, or, I want to stay in denial about it. And so this issue of denial, it can be very sneaky, and it can be very stealthy, especially, if we're doing the work, it can get harder to see where we're in denial. But I think that once you get comfortable with that, life is so much better if we can just be in acceptance and we can see things for what they are, then I feel like it can create this let me see where I got, where I'm not having eyes wide open, because then you learn so much there. You learn so much. So yeah, I don't know. This might be a short one today, because it's very clear. I feel like I've been very direct and concise about the the challenges with denial. And it's really easy to point a finger, and it's really easy to say, it's really easy to look at other people and say, oh my God, look at you, you are so in denial. But it's so much harder to turn the mirror around and look at ourselves and say, like, and where am I doing the same thing? Where am I doing the same thing? You know? I think of, like, the thing that comes up for me is like passive aggressiveness, right? I like to deny that I use passive aggressive behaviors with certain people in my life, you know? It shows up more with certain people. And that's hard to look at, to say, oh God, like, and I talk shit about people who are passive aggressive, and here I am doing the same thing, you know? But that's looking at that and seeing how I can be different, making different choices. Like, that is how I know I will get to the higher vibration of myself, and I will get to my best self, and I will open up portals in this world of opportunities. So, you know, I think that's what it is. And I know that, like, denial can be very linked to fear, you know? And going back to the story about, you know, finding out I was sick and being sick for a while, like, I think subconsciously, really, like, what was going on is I was just really afraid of finding out the truth, you know? I mean, there was, I think that there was real denial, and there was real fear that I wasn't even willing, or able to look at, to say, you know, what don't I want to find out here, you know? And of course, when I got the news, it was, like, devastating. But I think that staying in denial as long as I didn't make it easier. It made it, you know, it took a long time to be in acceptance. And actually, I would say it took years and years and years. And that's like a whole nother story. But, you know, I think I stayed in denial. Even when I got it and I found out what I had, I still stayed in denial about, like, what that meant for my life, rather than being in acceptance and learning how to live and love this part of myself, this part of my truth, this part of my health reality. And because I think that what I've learned is the sooner you can love those parts of yourself that you are not happy with, or upset with, or resent, or feel shame about, the sooner you will be free. Yeah, the sooner you will be set free. Well, I think that's it. I think that's it for my Feisty on Friday. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I'd love to hear what stuck out for you. You know, let me know that I'm not just living in a vacuum, just getting on my soapbox, and that you are hopefully growing and learning something about yourself through these. It means a lot to me, and it helps me keep going. Or if you want me to stop doing Feisty on Fridays, you know, tell me that too, you know, because I don't want to be in denial. And with that, I'm going to say, have a fantastic weekend. I think we are going to have even more clarity in the coming hours about the next president, and I am very optimistic that we are moving in a whole new direction, and we can return back to heart-centeredness in small and big ways. And it doesn't mean we don't have work to do. I mean, hell, look at the popular vote information. I mean, it goes to show you that, you know, we have a vast divide. So it doesn't mean that, you know, even if Biden wins out, that we don't have work to do. We have a ton of work to do regardless. So let's keep doing the work. Let's keep looking at ourselves. Let's keep doing this self-evaluation and having this self-awareness, because at the end of the day, the way the world will heal is if we are all doing our own work. Because then when we come together, we are not toxic in ourselves, and we can show up in a way that can serve ourselves and others. So take that one to the bank. Love you guys. Stay strong. Keep your head up and have a great weekend. That's Feisty on Friday. I'm Tosca with Tosca Coaching and Consulting, and ciao for now.